Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another video. So if you're like me and you've spent your entire guitar playing life with fairly traditional instruments, this thing looks kind of odd. It is a multi-scale guitar, the first I've had on the channel, and actually the first that I've ever played. It also happens to be the cheapest one, or at least one of the cheapest ones on the market. So how is it? Let's take a closer look. So aesthetically, this guitar definitely looks the part. You could be buying one of these to write your latest freeform jazz odyssey, but if I had to guess, most people are buying this for metal. And to that end, it is fittingly pointy. It's listed as having a purple quilt maple top, which is definitely just a thin veneer, but in real life, it looks more like burled. That's not a bad thing, I actually prefer it, it's more unique. It has a 5-piece maple NATO neck bolted firmly to the basswood body, which actually has a pretty nice carve to the top. Unlike a lot of other guitars in this price range, there isn't much of a neck pocket gap, which is a welcome surprise. Like on all the other Harley Bentons that currently ship to the United States, this fingerboard may look like rosewood, but it's actually what Thomann is calling rosacer. It's a kind of thermally treated maple, and I really like it. It feels very similar to rosewood, but a little bit smoother to the touch and with less grain. So if you're worried that these treated fingerboard materials are tactilely or tonally weird, don't be. I'm pretty sure most guitarists wouldn't even notice that this isn't rosewood. On to the hardware, it's actually pretty decent. Neither the tuning machines nor the bridge feel amazing, but they don't feel like they're made of pig iron or anything like that either. I didn't really have any major problems with tuning stability, probably thanks in part to the graphite nut, which prevented any of the strings from getting stuck while tuning. This Harley Benton FanFret-7 Deluxe comes loaded with 2 HBZ custom wound high gain humbuckers. Here's what they sound like dirty through my Peavey 6505 Plus. And here's what they sound like clean through my Marshall DSL 100H. So if I'm honest, these pickups are probably the weakest part of the guitar for me, quite literally. They're quite low output and they sound really weak to my ears. I kind of get what they were going for, trying to get that tight, djenty sound without making it too harsh, which is hard to do for cheap pickups, but I'd probably suggest they go back to the drawing board on these ones. They just lack the power that I personally prefer for heavy music. At a $300 price point, I was expecting to have to replace these pickups anyways, so it's not a huge deal. But yeah, I won't be recording anymore with this guitar until I swap them out. And that's really a shame because as with the SC550 that I tried before, the FanFret-7 Deluxe plays fantastic right out of the box. I am seriously impressed with the setup. When it comes to 7-string guitars, the bass strings can be especially tricky to get comfortably low without a buttload of fret buzz, but that's exactly what Thomann has done. The frets are level, well polished, and none of the ends are overly sharp. Again, I'd compare the fret job to what you'd normally find on high-end Epiphones. The neck feels kind of Ibanez-y to me, which makes sense since Ibanez is one of the top players in the 7-string space, so it'll feel quite familiar to 7-string players. Personally, I don't like flat back necks and 16-inch fingerboard radii on 6-string guitars, but for some reason on 7 strings it feels alright. Now because this is the first FanFret guitar that I've played, I kind of expected there to be a little bit of an adjustment period. I thought it would feel strange and that I'd really struggle with the weird non-parallel frets. Incredibly, it feels basically just like playing a normal guitar. Scale length is one of the trickiest parts when it comes to extended range guitars. The Matt Heafy 7-string Les Paul, for example, has a relatively short 24 3/4 inch scale length, so a lot of people find the low B too floppy. Meanwhile, if you have a 27-inch scale length baritone guitar, you'll probably have to use thicker gauge treble strings because something like 9s are too thin and might snap. So FanFret solved this problem by giving the guitar a longer scale length on the bass strings and a shorter scale length on the treble strings. So in fact, because of the string tension, playing this feels more familiar to me than even some uniform scale length 7-string guitars, as weird as that may sound. And now it's time for Simon Says, the segment where we ask my guitar noob roommate what he thinks of the Harley Benton FanFret-7 Deluxe.
Simon, what do you think of this guitar?
7 strings, 2 little knobbies. I really like these handlebars. They look like little double horns. Looks pretty badass. Thick neck and a tiny headstock. It's like purple wood. Looks kind of psychedelic.
Do you notice there's something going on with the frets?
What's a fret?
The little metal bars?
There's a lot more of them. They're like more frets, and they get they're really really narrow, and then they're really wide. Is that how all guitars are?
Yes.
Well, there's more strings, so there's gotta be more frets too. Right. Alright. The price of this guitar, maybe $350?
Lower.
Lower.
It's $300.
$300. Oh, that's pretty good.
Any final thoughts?
Looks like a blade, like a bayonet, kind of. 1 thumbs up.
Only 1 thumbs up?
I like the other one more, I think. Let me review more of these Harley Bentons. I like this brand.
So overall, this guitar is pretty much what I'm starting to expect from Harley Benton. A guitar that plays and feels much better than the price tag would suggest, and a great starting point for an easy mod project. The pickups make me kinda sad because unlike the other 2 Harley Bentons where the Wilkinson pickups were usable and just not my style, these were designed for metal guys like me in mind, and I found the tone and power underwhelming. But that's how high Harley Benton has set the bar for budget guitars. I'm actually really disappointed that I'm gonna have to replace the pickups in a $300 guitar. I've never really been into the whole pointy guitar thing, but this has convinced me that if Harley Benton ever introduces a 7-string FanFret SC or T-style guitar, I'll be all over it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. These are just my opinions and I'd love to hear yours, so leave them in the comments and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to help me continue making this content and get bonus extras like song downloads and now tabs, check out my Patreon. Thanks to Toman for sending this guitar and to Pad for mixing the demo track. Pricing, availability, all the links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. You've been awesome. This is the Harley Benton FanFret-7 2017 Deluxe, and I'll see you for the next video.